Good day. Thank you very much for joining us. Welcome to the SAICA Thuthuka Show. My name is Dougal, and alongside me, Rhoda.
Oh, welcome, welcome. You know, this is a very exciting show because there's so much things to discuss today.
It certainly is. And of course, it is a live broadcast, and we would welcome your questions and comments, and we really want you to be part of the show. And really an exciting show because we're talking today about chartered accountants.
That is right. And you know what? If you don't know what a chartered accountant is, today we will tell you exactly what a chartered accountant can do.
Yeah, and it is really exciting. And as we know, and we've heard, and we all aspire to, this is a very, very exciting career opportunity and, of course, a career choice. And we're definitely going to hear from the people who do this exactly. But as we said, of course, what it is all about is an interactive show. So we look forward to your questions and comments, of course, and we'll pose that. Now, if you think about it, if you ever thought that just being a chartered accountant is just somebody who crunches numbers and it's dull, grey suit, and you know, this person's got a fancy car, well, you're quite in for something because it is a very, very, very exciting career opportunity. And this is where we're taking you by the hand, of course, and showcasing you this and exactly how you can be part of it as well. So certainly very, very exciting with great, great career prospects, of course, travel opportunities even.
Oh, yes.
You know, if you look at it. And we've got some interesting facts about chartered accountants, don't we, Rhoda?
That is right, and let's just mention a few. So, firstly, the CAs make up the most successful entrepreneurs, Dougal.
Wow.
And then, a CA is among the top 10 highest earners in the country. Ooh, I think I need to change my career. And then, 1 in 4 CEOs of the JSE top companies are in the country of CAs. The top 4 JSE, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So brilliant. Then CAs make up 76% of the JSE top companies' chief financial officers.
And, and that is quite big. And when you look at it this way, Rhoda, I mean, it is not just the financial sector. I mean, it is all sectors, all industries. When we look at broadcasting, media, sports, chartered accountants definitely play a big part. So, but the question becomes, where does the journey start? How do you join this? How are you able to become then and fulfill a dream at becoming a South African chartered accountant? And that is where the show comes in today. So joining us today are 2 wonderful people, and I want to thank them ahead of time, of course. Thank you for joining us. And that is Lauren Poole and Amina Bardin from the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants. Ladies, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us on the SAICA Thuthuka Show. How are you doing?
Thank you so much for putting us on the show. We are really grateful for that. We are doing good, and yourself?
Absolutely awesome. And Amina, how's things your side?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for the honor to speak here. I'm doing well, thank you. How are you all?
No, we're all good. You know what? We're very excited to hear, of course, not just about your journeys as well, but everything around chartered accounting. That is what we're very, very excited about to hear. But first, Lauren, let me go to you. Exactly what it is that you do. So I understand you're a third-year student, and this is now the journey that you are on.
100%. So I'm doing my 3rd-year articles at PwC currently now. So next year I'll qualify as a CASA.
Okay. Ooh, and Amina, you in the same boat?
Hi, I'm finishing my 2nd year at the moment. So next year I'll be where Lauren is. I'm so excited. I'm busy completing my articles at Deloitte currently.
Lovely,
awesome stuff.
Lovely.
Well, we wish you well.
Yes, definitely. Lauren, just going back. So, I mean, having to be obviously where you're at right now, 3rd year, next year you'll become the CA. How did this all start for you? When did this little bell go off and say, this is what I want to become?
Oh, that's a really interesting question. And I was thinking about it. I was like, when did I actually want to become a CASA and take this journey? So it was actually in 2013 when I was in matric, and I went to the SAICA business game. It's a game, it's almost like Monopoly, but just like for accountants where there's stock exchanges and all that. And the former Southern Region President, Sandile Phillips, he spoke there on behalf of SAICA, and he was sharing his testimony. And I was like, this is amazing. It's just not you going to a 9-to-5 job, but you are exposed to so much more. And it was actually in my matric year that I decided CASA is for me. And I watched Sandile Phillips and I said, I want to be that man. That's where I want to be. And literally 6 years later in 2019, I was presenting at the SAICA Business Game as well. So it's that opportunities that are given to you. And it's not just a 9 to 5, but it's also networking and impacting everyone around you as well.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No, most certainly. And I mean, let's ask you the same question. What triggered the bell for you that this is the journey that you should go on?
I think many people assume like the people that end up in a CA profession, like if you're thinking of it your whole life, it really wasn't like that for me. I dabbled everywhere in high school. I wasn't sure where I wanted to be. And when I started doing proper research in matric, because they do those life orientation projects and you're like forced to do it. And then I found out I was looking for a timeless career, something a qualification that I can take with anywhere I go. I can go to any country. It wouldn't matter. Someone would always need me. Someone would always pay me. So I think that skills and those kind of development things that comes with a qualification is something, it's priceless.
Yeah.
Everyone would want it. So that's what got me into this profession.
Wow.
I like what you are both saying, and I really applaud you for that as well. And we all just wish you the best. And I like what you're saying in terms of the insightfulness. I mean, because CAs are renowned for their analytical thinking, the way they process things, and they're in high demand, not just but globally. So just the constant expansion in terms of career, I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it, Rhoda.
Definitely. So obviously going into the career, having to figure out in like the both of you in matric, what was the requirements? Because I mean, obviously grade 10 you had to choose your subject choices already, and the fact that you were in matric. So you obviously had the right grades or necessarily subject choices. Am I correct? What did you need to basically make a choice as well?
So basically, I took accounting at school, but accounting, shockingly enough, is not like a requirement to actually do the BCom accounting, the CA route. And maths is actually one of the requirements. So if you have that high maths marks, you can go for it. I have a lot of friends that actually just had maths alone, and they qualified now. They're sitting in the articles. Wow. And English is also very important, just to when you have the conversations with people and you speak to CEOs, CFOs, just the dialogue in that as well.
Oh my word. Okay, I'm a bit shocked there. So like you said, as you figured out you actually didn't need accounting. It was really your maths mark that had to be quite high. And not maths lit. We're talking pure maths now.
Yes. So that is, we all were shocked by it. I think it's just because maths allows you to analytically think. And that helps you during the accounting process. It's not just about numbers and all that, but what does the numbers actually mean? And what's the meaning behind those numbers?
Okay, so if people right now at school, and Lauren, let's stick to you quickly. I just want to be clear with us. School leavers, people who are leaving school right now with, let's say, high grades in mathematics, should they seriously then consider chartered accountancy as a career? Because clearly we've heard now from everything you've said, the excitement around it, and of course, definitely sounds very, very rewarding.
100%. And shockingly enough, statistics actually show that 35% of all first-year varsity students actually find the CA designation more attractive. This is double those of wanting to become doctors and lawyers. Money is one of the key reasons, but it's so much more than that. It's the impact you have. It's the giving back. And it's also of that you can work internationally and you can become a CEO, CFO. You don't just necessarily have to sit with numbers. You can do the auditing. So I find this very interesting, the designation, because say you go to a shop and you want to purchase something, a CASA somehow work those controls out for you to be able to purchase those things. So it's the day-to-day entering to a boom gate. That's actually a control that's implemented. It's that day-to-day life that we live as CAs. And what I love about it, it's not a job, it's a designation. And you can do so much more than just going 9 to 5.
Ah, okay. Love that. Now we've got a question on from a viewer, which is on screen there, and it says, "How will chartered accountancy be affected by?" And I've missed the last part there because Rhoda, could you read that?
Automation in the future.
There we go. How will chartered accountancy be affected by automation in the future? I don't know, ladies, either one, Amina or Lauren.
I don't mind speaking. So this is also one of the things that I considered when making my decision. The thing about CAs that a lot of people get wrong is they think that a system can sort of replace professional judgment. Professional skepticism is a human element. That little human thing that we need to, our gut feeling, it's something a system won't have. And so the designation is quite protected in that sense. And then also, there's so many things you can do. A CFO that runs a company, you can't replace that with a machine. A robot's not going to do the job. And there's been so much dissatisfaction with employees around everything being automated. People miss one another. They miss quality time. They miss that connection. And I'm not at all worried that automation would replace the job that we do today.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, thank you for answering that, and thank you so much for the question as well. And Amina, if we could stick to you, because I want to ask you now, in terms of entry criteria necessary for students then to study onwards in terms of chartered accountancy, what would those entrance criteria be?
Okay, so when you applying at the university, you need to obviously have certain results. You need to be taking pure maths, and you need to at least pass with a 60% average. So I'm sure you guys can work towards that. And then also, in addition to that, it's, as Lauren said before, it's important to have good English marks as well. A lot of people think accounting profession equals numbers. You don't need anything else, but that's really not true, because we use communication in our day-to-day lives all the time. We need to know how to speak to certain people, and you need to know how to communicate what you are asking clients. So this is very important, and will also help you with your studies, because we're busy with really big acts. All of these books, you need to know these words, these concepts. So yes, English is also really important. And also, you need that will and determination to take you through. The studying environment can obviously get to you, but I believe you all will do a great job. Excellent. And then obviously you need to have your NEC certificate exemption, which you will get when you pass matric.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually want to ask you both this question before we move on. So as youngsters and as learners at school, did you personally know any CAs?
I had a cousin who was in the same direction as me, but we were more or less on the same path at that time. So I didn't personally know anyone who was already a CA at the time. I've been to quite a few business functions through school and the career development days, and that's sort of where I gauged the feeling of, oh, this person, like I like the way they carry themselves, I like what they're saying, and I just needed to do more research. And doing more research for yourself is also very important.
Yeah, and that is where the bug bit, and that's where you find out all about SAICA, I suppose.
And obviously Thuthuka as well. So just a quick one. So now, I'm now decided as a student, Lauren, this one is for you, the question's posed to you. So now I've decided I want to do chartered accounting. And I mean, looking at all the universities out there, obviously, the choices, how do you make that decision and consider which university to go to?
So it's very important that you should go to a SAICA accredited university. So on the SAICA website, they have a whole list of all the universities. So myself, I went to the University of the Western Cape, but I can just mention a few. It's Rhodes University, University of Fort Hare, University of Stellenbosch, Johannesburg. So there's an endless list to that. And also, you should also go to university where there is extracurricular activities, where there's maybe mentoring program, leadership programs, where you want to be part of sports, you want to be part of music, so that you can just make sure when you reach the corporate world and you do your first year articles, you're actually a well-rounded CA and you are able to communicate with people. In our careers, we communicate to CEOs, CFOs, and you build those skills during your university career.
Yeah. So it is the most important thing then to select a university or institution then that is accredited by SAICA.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. And Amina, where did you, so Lauren says she studied at the University of Western Cape. Where did you do your studies?
I studied at the University of Stellenbosch, so go Marties. um,
And
I did a lot of extracurriculars there. It's actually why I chose the university also because they're really active. Like the culture there, people are running every day and everyone's going to watch games. Like it's a super involved university, I can say. You don't just go there to study.
yeah, yeah. You know what? And I've seen the list of accredited institutions, and I mean it's basically a national footprint. National footprint. It's a national expanse. So basically, every province, every major hub has got an accredited institution by SAICA, which makes this obviously possible. Now, quickly tell us the journey, because now you do the hard yards. So the first thing you study is a BCom, right?
Yes, so the first thing you do is you become accounting degree specifically. So it's 3 years. So when I sat in matric, I was like, I'm going to be a qualified chartered accountant after 3 years.
Yeah.
But I didn't know there was so much more to it. And that's why the SAICA business game was really good in that case, because I found like, I'm not going to be qualified after 3 years. So you do your 3-year degree, and then you would do your postgrad, where it's like your honors or certificate of theory in accounting, where you would then start specializing in auditing, in tax, in financial management, and obviously accounting as well.
Okay. So it's 3 years, and then you go into the postgrad level.
Yes.
Yes.
And in that part now, and after that, what happens then?
So after that, you'll enter into a 3-year training contract with a registered training office. Those are also on the SAICA website. And then throughout those 3 years, you write 2 big qualifying exams. So this one exam, it's called the ITC exam.
Yeah.
And this basically tests your technical competence, basically all the concepts you would have already covered through your undergraduate degree and your postgraduate degree. The tests are both administered and set up by SAICA, so it's standard for everyone.
Okay.
There's also an APC exam, and then that exam usually tests, not usually, sorry, the exam does test your professional competence. And so you can only complete this APC exam once you've passed the ITC exam, and then also once you've completed 20 months of experienced work in your training office. The reason for this is because you can have all the theory down in your studies, but you really learn in your working years.
Yeah. And Amina, if I may ask you, so that final test that you mentioned, is that what people normally commonly call the board exam?
Yes, but technically there are 2. So the ITC would be your first board exam, and then your second board exam would be the APC. I actually wrote my board course exam yesterday.
Oh.
So that was 8 hours of my life. I just sat there. Yeah.
Congrats.
8 whole hours.
Wow.
And
Crazy.
And what does it feel like writing an exam? I mean, I can remember what it was like, but I just want to hear from you.
Just
I mean,
hear from
it's
you.
still fresh in your mind now. What was it like?
It was long, but it's a super engaging exam. It's not a study and then write exam. It's you apply yourself throughout the test the whole time.
Yeah.
You thinking, what if? But it was enlightening.
Yeah, and considering that experience, I mean, doing the degree, you then go and you start with the training and you do that initial test that you said, and then you move on to the next one. Considering how those steps are all layered out at each other, it really equips you to actually then write it.
That's true. And also it allows you to have many milestones. So you can celebrate at every milestone. After the ITC you celebrate, after the APC you celebrate. But yes, just in terms of timing of those exams, so the ITC exam you'll write in your first year of your training articles, and then your APC you will write at the end of your second year or at the end of your third year. All depends on you, but you would have had to complete 20 months already
20 months.
just to be able to apply yourself.
Yeah.
Then just quickly on that, so just to get clarity as well. So within chartered accounting itself, you actually have different career paths as such. So when you do that 20 months, am I correct? Like I was
Career
looking,
path?
I
Can you
said,
clarify?
so I was looking here where they're talking about, because it's just what you guys are studying. We're looking at accounting, auditing, taxation, financial management. Is it different, obviously, fields within a chartered accounting as well for that 20 months, or do you just cover all of that?
So it depends on the exposure you have. Different firms will have different clients. Depending on the client, you'll see what you'll get exposure to. But it's important to do research before the time, because you can end up doing tax articles if that is what you feel your career would be like long term. Then you'd want to go to a firm where that's what you're going to spend your time on mostly. But it's different person to person. I personally chose audit, and from there I get mostly audit and financial experience, but then also a little bit of management and tax. That's my profile. I'm not sure, Lauren, maybe if you'd want to add your experience.
Okay, so in my case, so I also chose an audit firm as well, but you can also do your articles at like a normal listed company as well. They also offer articles. You can do it in the banking, the finance industry. They also offer articles, but specifically, like Amina said, it's a decision. So if you want to go auditing, you are not restricted to a certain industry, say, for example, sales. But if you now know that you want to be part of financial services and be part of an Old Mutual, you can do your articles there as well.
All right. So we're going to move on now. Before I ask you the next question, I just want to thank all the viewers for watching this and for posing questions. So we've got a couple of questions that I want to just pose to you quickly. So Rita Adams says, any tips on job shadowing for chartered accountancy? Do you guys have any tips?
If I may speak quickly, so very with job shadowing, I encourage each and every student learner to go and do job shadowing, because there you get a feel of, is auditing for you, is a specific corporate for you, where do you actually want to go? And also it encourages you just to be like, okay, I got this, I'm going to increase my maths mark, I'm going to increase my accounting mark. So the biggest tips that I can give you is be active, go to all websites, Google, go on SAICA's website, see where they're offering job shadowing, and take every opportunity you can to actually go. It also widens your network, because in chartered accounting, we like networking. So we network with a lot of people. And I think that's just, if I would recommend job shadowing, it's the first thing that you should do always.
Yeah. And Laura, let me just take you back to what you said earlier, considering what you just said there. You said earlier something about the SAICA game. And I wanted to ask you quickly about it, because that kind of sets the scene in a way.
Yes, 100%. So the SAICA business game, it was where if you were accounting student or math student, your accounting teacher would be like, okay, you want to be part of it. So it's Monopoly, but on a whole other level. So it's about shares, it's about increasing the share price, and you can purchase goods, you can purchase work in progress, raw materials. And it was that whole experience for me was such a joy. I got there and I was so amazed by the organization of everything, where everything was on point, everything was organized properly. And my school actually won that year. And I was so excited.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what sold me, but our school won that year.
Now, I've got another question from a viewer that I want to quickly ask you quickly. And it's from Amanda Peter. Thank you so much for watching, Amanda, who says, hi. So if a grade 9 student wants to become a CA, which subjects can they choose in grade 10? And Amila, let's put that question to you. And also, what exactly did you do?
So you really only need maths. That's the main requirement, obviously pure math. And then English is compulsory, so you can't get away from that.
Yeah.
And then you don't really need accounting. Many universities don't even list it as a criteria, but it does give you a good background. Although they start teaching you concepts at university in first year as though you've never been taught it before. So while it would give you that little pat on the back, you'll feel a little more comfortable. It's really not required. So if it's not something that you want to sit through 3 years of doing, then you don't have to, but I would advise it. The subjects I chose was accounting, economics, and physics. So physics just because it was just there. Everyone just said, physics is going to open your world. I don't use physics today, but I took physics, and then I knew I wanted to be in the business side of the world in terms of my career. So I took economics and accounting to supplement that. Obviously, a decision that you can make, but the important thing to think about is try and think a little long term. Maybe you don't know exactly where you want to go, but you know, sort of a general career. And then finance and economics, accounting, like every single business needs it. You need a business mindset for any entrepreneurial ideas that you'd have. So it would always be a good stepping stone.
Stepping stone. And then there's another question here, which is quite a good one as well. Almarie Extian, welcome on the show. She's asking, can you become a CA by entering an internship? Example, she says, work and study part-time. Is that possible?
So I can, so I'll answer that one. So yes, so one of the SAICA accredited universities is UNISA, which is full-time or part-time studying. So there is that opportunity for you to go into your internship. It depends what audit firm you're going to go to if they do offer it. And you're able to study as well as work. And I know one of my colleagues, he actually did his BCom accounting through UNISA. He worked and he did his postgraduate, and now he's doing his second year article. So it is really possible for that.
So that is good. So as long as you do, you sort of keep going. And Almarie, thank you very much for of course, asking that question. It is much appreciated. And we've got another question from Vera Mali. So thank you very much for watching, Vera. But I'm going to pose that question.
Yeah.
In a little bit. I just want to wait a second with that one as well for it. And Lauren, so your friend has done that, as you've said, and I wanna ask you as well this question. Now that I have you, we've established now the journey that you go, what you do at school. Once you go to tertiary institution and an accredited one with a SAICA, of course, and the road onwards from that. But let me ask you this quickly in a nutshell, and I want to actually ask both of you this. What career path then can somebody who wants to qualify as a chartered accountant, what do they follow? Let's get into the meat of it.
Yes, let's get in. So the one most amazing, that's why English is very important for high school, is because you can go work internationally. So obviously English is a universal language. So you can go to America, you can go to Germany, you can go anywhere, and you can actually work internationally with a CA designation. And then you can also do like work in your accounting firm, your audit firms, you can do tax advisory, consulting, and you can also do what I really love is the lecturing part, the academic part of it. So in my first year of articles, I was academic trainee. So I was exposed, which academic training is like an associate lecturer, where I was exposed to lecturing to students, marking scripts, getting that exposure and giving back to the future CA essays. You can also become your own boss, which sells it for all of us, because as much as we want to work for a boss, we also want to become our own bosses as well. And what's very amazing is that you can work for the government and the public sector as well to give back to South Africa also.
Yeah. So when you say it like that, it is really, as somebody with a designation of CA, you really become a business leader. I mean, that's it in a nutshell, right?
100%, that's correct, yes.
I just wanted to jump back quickly. So you said the international part, obviously traveling and having to see a lot of places. And obviously this is the reason why English is basically one of those subjects that is a must. Because, I mean, I'm just thinking having to travel overseas, the common language you speak would obviously be then English.
Yes, and a lot of the firms or the businesses where you go and you now go internationally, they do not recommend English, but they do encourage English because you will fit into their culture, if that makes sense. So there won't be that language barrier.
Yeah.
And that's how you'll be able to communicate to people all around.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. That certainly does. No, thank you for that. And Lauren, when Amina, let me move to you and ask you that as well. When you look at all those, I mean, you said it earlier so succinctly, all the exciting things that are happening in terms of a career path. I mean, what is there that cannot be covered by a CA? If you just think of like the way they analyze business, and of course the companies would definitely be looking at that analytical skill set that chartered accountants have to drive their businesses forward.
I think the skill set that we acquire throughout our studies and our years of training articles, nobody can take that away from you. You can go anywhere with it, and people are gonna want you in demand. And also, like from my experience of the colleagues that I work with that have been on secondments and came back to Cape Town, South African chartered accountants are spoken very highly of. People are always raving about the quality of SACAs that we produce. And so when we move over globally, you already, not you on a pedestal, but people know that you know your stuff. You're in high demand. And so that allows you to really go wherever you want to go. If that's something you want.
Yeah. I've got another question from a viewer that I quickly want to ask you as well, and that is from Ridwa. That we're gonna have it come up in a second or two, and the question is for the meantime, any tips on job shadowing for chartered accountancy? So I wanted to ask you that question earlier as well. Was there any tips that you might have? And I think Lauren, you touched on it a second ago.
I job shadowed at Old Mutual. Obviously, the firm that you decide to job shadow at is at your own discretion. We went together as a group of interested learners who were all in the same accounting class. So,
Yeah.
who were all in the same accounting class. So we went there together, and it's important to ask really big questions. Like, don't limit yourself. Don't think, oh, this is a stupid question, I shouldn't have to ask this. No question is stupid in audit. No question is stupid in accounting. That question that you might think is stupid might be a fundamental part of something that they might have missed. So it's important to always ask the questions that you need. And then it's also important to not limit yourself to a certain company, a certain place. Try and experience as much job shadowing opportunities as you can, so that you can understand where you feel at home, where you feel fit, where you feel like, oh, I can grow here.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. So the current numbers in terms of chartered accountants, are we producing more?
There's definitely been an increase, but it's not where we would like it to be. As a South African economy, we want to grow, we want to produce more CAs. There are increases in numbers. However, there's still really a large amount of vacancies available for accounting and finance professionals. And employers are struggling to fill these gaps because there are not enough staff available at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to probably hit on this one, because now coming from obviously our country having to basically come from a very bad time back in the day, where we as being told back in the day, our age group, being told that you can only be a nurse, you can only be a teacher. There was job restrictions. Obviously, in the CA field right now, there's obviously also a shortage of so-called, what we would call black and women CAs at the moment. Am I correct? Because if I'm just looking at the history of our country, where we had come from, and we what, 20, 30 years into the making of our new democracy, how do CAs stand right now where chartered accountants are concerned? We obviously the job is concerned.
While we aren't reducing the numbers, there are initiatives in place in order for us to grow and to get there. One of SAICA's main goals is to strengthen the country's economy, and they do this through providing initiatives that support transformation, that support skills development, so that everyone can be well equipped in order to enter the profession. One of the main objectives of the initiatives are to provide learners with the skills and development that they need to enter the profession. And this is done through the Thuthuka Education Upliftment Program. And what this program aims to promote is to mainly transform the profession in order to align South African demographics, like in general, with that of the CA profession. So we're trying to bring in more black and colored CAs. We're trying to bring in more women. We're trying to equalize things so that the demographics of the profession can match the demographics of South Africa.
Yeah.
When we look around the big guys, we don't see a lot of ourselves, and we need that. We need representation, and that's what SAICA is aiming to achieve with the Thuthuka program. In doing so, there's a large amount of promotion, and there's definitely place for us all, and everyone should keep working at it. Don't limit yourselves, keep fighting, and hard work always will go a long way.
Most definitely.
Absolutely awesome, and thank you for saying that. Now, we want to move the conversation, and I want to talk a little bit about Thuthuka.
Yeah.
So, Lauren, can you tell us more about Thuthuka, about the Thuthuka bursary?
I was waiting for this question to come. I am proudly Thuthuka, and I can speak for weeks on this, but we obviously just have a small shot, so I will go as short as possible. So the Thuthuka, on the Thuthuka side, they offer more than just your fees, like covers your tuition. It's more than that. They give you additional life skills. They give you residential fees, academic support, textbooks, and living allowances. And just for experience on myself, I was Thuthuka since my first year, and I feel like I'm still Thuthuka now, even though I'm a trainee. My experience, Thuthuka has carried me through my university career. They paid for my fees. My parents did not need to worry about paying for fees or anything. They paid for my books. They've given me a sense of community. So I was involved in the SAICA campus while as a leader, and still today we are community, and we talk to one another, we meet up with one another. And SAICA has allowed me and called me as a person to enhance my leadership skills through the SAICA camp, enhance my communication skills. We are taught to speak and treat everyone equally. And that's what Thuthuka is for me, and was for me, and it still is for me currently.
Okay, so that definitely sounds exciting, and I can see where we're going with this. This is going to be quite a moment as well. Now, I wanna just bring in a question asked from one of the viewers as well, which is from Vera Mali, who says, does SAICA offer bursaries to high school students and who are doing the accounting and mathematics right now? And on this level, then this is where Thuthuka would be kicking in. Now, Amina, let me ask you this: are you also a Thuthuka recipient?
Yes, I'm also a proud Thuthuka recipient. I've been with Thuthuka since my first year. They've carried me through. I'm still in contact with many of the people that I met, and the best thing about it, I think, is that you sort of create a family. So you have your Thuthuka family that goes to class with you. You on a race together. You support each other. You there studying late together. So it's really a family thing. What I experienced with Thuthuka also is that it's not just academic related. So we had extra classes to assist us with our academic, but in addition to that, we had so many workshops to really equip you with real life skills. How to fill out a CV, how to act in an interview, all those soft skills that make you a well-rounded CA and make you high demand. So all of those additional things, there were workshops for it. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of social things. So the purpose is not just purely for academic growth, but also to grow you in all the facets in your life. You'll be well-rounded.
Yeah, we're going to come back again there. One of the things that I kept on hearing was this camp thing. So one of our viewers, which is again Almarie X,
you must come from a family that cannot find education, which I'm the living proof of that as well. So you can go on the website. So the website is www.thuthukabursaryfund.co.za, or you can email tbf@saica.co.za as well with more, if you want to know more about it or the application process and all that.
Okay, and it's a very, very easy process to go through all of that once you tick all those boxes as you mentioned.
100%. So those are the criterias, and the application process will be a smooth sailing.
Yeah.
And then also you have the call, you have the email to ask if you have any questions, or ask Amina and myself as well.
Yeah, then I just want to go back on that. Obviously with the Thuthuka as well, they're looking at the individual as well. So you kind of have to be a little bit all around it as well. We're talking about obviously being good at academics and active obviously in school with sports and things like that.
100%. So it's also you're academically strong, but you don't necessarily need to be well-rounded. So initially, I wasn't that much involved in my high school, my matric years when I started getting involved. But still, throughout my university career, I started becoming also more well-rounded in that sense. So your experience, like your maths needs to be high, academically needs to be high. We encourage to do extracurricular activities because you need to have that balanced life, and you learn that balanced life by having academic and something on the side as well.
Yeah. And I want to ask you this, just looking at Thuthuka, I mean, what an opportunity, obviously.
Definitely. I'm always grateful for the opportunities.
And the other thing I wanted to ask you, so once a person now applies for the bursary, and then with a turnaround time, before you hear an answer, and now you hear good news. Do you remember that day you got that news?
I do actually. I remember I live with my parents. And my mommy wasn't home from work yet, so I had to wait till 5 because I didn't want to phone her. Like, this wasn't a cool news. This was jump on your news. And it was so exciting. And then she was crying, I don't know.
I would cry as well. And how was your experience, Lauren? Because, I mean, this is quite big.
It is. So maybe I'm probably Amna's mother, and I started crying because it was like, it's just that you know that your career, like your education, your fees are sorted. You don't need to stress about anything, and you can just focus on your degree, because a degree does take sometimes a lot of you. So that's having that financial thing behind your back, and my fees need to be paid. But I just burst into tears, and I was like extremely grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, looking back at that, I mean, when this journey started for you just as a matric learner, and you both made up your mind, this is where we want to go to, going through all this process, I mean, did you envisage the excitement, the connections, the networks that you have built, the things you have learned, just the experience, and looking how bright the future would be? Did you ever envisage anything like this?
No, I probably envisioned half of this, because when you go through it and you're sitting in your first year, you don't actually know what it's like to be like a second year or third year. So as you go throughout this whole journey, you just have more appreciation for the CASA designation. So when you get to that point and see your name like with CAS at the end, it will mean so much more to you, because we go through so many ups and downs, but we also go through high celebrations where you pass your board 1, you pass your board 2, you pass your undergrad, you pass your honors. And what I like about it is that you're never stagnant. It's never you doing the same thing over and over. It's like, I can go to the next level. What can I do next? Where can I go next? I can be CEO, CFO. How am I going to get there? So where I'm currently now, I've never envisioned myself being where I am now. Probably less in this, but I'm so grateful for this designation.
That's absolutely awesome. Listen, we're gonna wrap up with you in a short little bit and just sort of reflect on everything you said. We've got a couple of questions and comments that we will pose to you as well, but we're gonna do something quickly, Rhoda.
That is right. We're just going to do a little video for you. So just have a look quickly.
It's going to be all about the excitement.
Whether you want to be a business leader, financial decision maker, or entrepreneur, the chartered accountancy profession is your gateway to entering these exciting and challenging careers. Companies rely on CA's disciplined, insightful approach to business and their strong analytical skills to make business decisions that help their companies grow. CAs account for or explain financial transactions. This means you have to be good with numbers, as you'll spend your days documenting, describing, and explaining where money has come from and gone to, working out how well a company is doing, and helping them plan for their future successes. They are highly valuable assets who are knowledgeable in a wide range of essential business aspects, including auditing, mergers and acquisitions, taxation, risk assessment, and management in general. You'll find CAs working in all fields of business and in various contexts, from public practice to the private sector, as well as government institutions. So how do you become a CA? It takes 5 steps. When picking your subjects, make the right choice. Take maths, not maths literacy, and achieve a level 5 pass or more in grade 12. Go to the right university. Study a BCom undergraduate and postgraduate degree at a university accredited by SAICA. After university, enter a 3-year training program with a SAICA accredited training office to gain real-life, on-the-job work experience. Study for and pass 2 qualifying exams: the initial test of competence, or ITC, and the assessment of professional competence, or APC. Once you've passed your exams and finished your training contract, register with SAICA to become a CA. It's a 7-year process, but it's worth it.
There you have it.
There you
It
have
is simply worth it. So there's something you got to do, and that's summarizing it very sweetly and succinctly for us as well.
Definitely.
So we've got a couple of questions and comments, and Lauren and Amina, we want to put this to you first. So. Vera Mali has made a great comment. She says, great show, guys, and thank you for being so succinctly and so informative. See, it's not just about numbers and grey suits, after all. And Vera goes on to say that knowledge is certainly power.
Definitely
and
power.
then we've got a question in from Lavella Kivit that I want to post to you. She says, I'm a first-year student, BCom accounting, and I fear I'm not as well-rounded as I should be. I have very poor communication skills. Do you guys have any tips on how to overcome this? Is there anything I can do?
Shame, man.
Okay, shame. So firstly, well done for making it into your first year. You've reached that one level that we all were wanting to be there. The other thing that I can maybe say is I wasn't as well-rounded. So maybe we sound this now, bear in mind we've been in this journey now for 5 years, 6 years. So we maybe sound now that we're well-rounded. But in my first year, I wasn't well-rounded. In my second year, I wasn't well-rounded. And only third year, I started doing like leadership camps. I got involved at the university where we introduced the first years. So that's only when I started, working on my communication skills, enhancing my leadership skills, tutoring, mentoring, and all that stuff. So don't worry. It's not too late. Some people only do it in their trainees, their articles, so it's really not too late.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And Amina, if I can pose this question to you from Denver, February, which is kind of similar to what Lauren has just said and to the previous question. And Denver, thank you for your question. It says, very informative show. Would just like to say having good communication and interactive skills, would that be very helpful to progress in this field? And let's also ask the question from the other side. If you don't have that, kind of similar question to what Lauren has answered, is that a hindrance?
So communication and interactive skills, the best thing about it is that it's not limited. You're using it every day. And so the thing about not feeling like you are there yet, it's something you can always work on. It's something you can always grow at. I would say that it is definitely an advantage to have good communication skills and to be interactive. As Lauren said many times, networking is so important, and the way you speak to someone is a representation of who you are to them. And that picture of you in their head will open opportunities for you, or it might close doors. So you need to make sure that you're always communicating in a clear manner and respectfully, and you'll realize you do this in your everyday life. It's not too far off, and it doesn't have to be all the big English words. You can speak normal, you can speak clearly. There's no problem with that. Being professional has nothing to do with big English words.
Yeah.
So don't ever feel like you're missing that part because of your vocabulary. There's always room for improvement.
We have a comment on YouTube as well, and it's from Hubert. When it comes to scholars and bursaries, people often say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing. Persistence will get you to the outcomes you need. That's why giving up is not an option. Well done there, but giving up is not an option.
Yeah, and when you hear that, and Lauren and Amila, let's put that statement both to you from you. But when you hear that, I mean, it is a very rewarding and very challenging sort of career prospect. And when you look at all the things you've learned, or everything you've experienced, you must be waking up in the morning going, yes, I can't wait for the day.
So just in my case, so that the option is not giving up. I didn't make my third year. So I did a third year over to get into honors and qualify. So it's that sitting in the class with brand new people that you don't know around you because your friends has moved on to honors and now you sitting back. And it's that constantly persistent. And I always tell students, and I did this for myself as well, is you need to be your own motivator. You need to be your own cheerleader. So if you passed the paper and you got 50%, celebrate it. It's that small achievements that makes you appreciate the failure much more.
Oh, yeah. I'm just listening to you right now. I mean, everything's been sounding quite rosy and everything, but the fact that you had said now yourself with your third year, obviously having to study with the chartered accountant is very hard work. Am I right?
Yes, like I think hard work is understatement. I would probably maybe say it's challenging because it's a constant race. You're constantly running. You're in the Olympics and you're just running and you're going. It is challenging, but you also have the people that's in your class and that you know that you're not in it alone. And I think that's what drives us more. It's that knowing that when I listened to Sandile Phillips' testimony of how he became a CASA, it was like, Lauren, if he could do it, you could do it. It's always in our CA career, or when you see CAs, each one will have their own story of their failure and how they got out of it. And that just motivates the students and the learners of the future.
Yeah.
Oh,
and touching on that, what you said, as you said, of course, with Thuthuka as well, you've always got that sort of support there. Because it is, you sort of all taking this journey together. So there's always somebody you can like sort of tap on the shoulder and say, I need to talk to you about this or that.
Yes, that is so true. And especially like if you're struggling with a specific module, you can just go to your friend and be like, can you please help me with this? Or you're like, did you pass? No, I didn't. I failed. And that person, when you fail together, it's like you can drive your friend and say, look here, we need to study harder. What can we do? And it's also that, okay, let's not study. Let's just have a discussion and talk of how we're feeling. Because we're all human as well. And we all have mental health as well. So how are you feeling? How are you coping? And if your friend or the student is not going through it, you just go to a lecture and you be like, okay, they probably need help, or you just need to acknowledge if you need help or not. And one thing, the lectures are also very open and welcoming and say, if you are struggling, they will be there to assist you because they've been through the journey themselves as well.
Oh, yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Do you know what? I love everything that I hear. And I mean, obviously, we all know it is an exciting career prospect. And as we said in the beginning, financially, the rewards are exceptionally high. And that is why it is. But just listening to you about what this journey entails, I mean, it just sounds super, super exciting just to do it. Amina, let me ask you this. And Lauren, I want to ask you the same question, really. And this is all wrapping up. If you had to speak to young Amina, what would you say? I mean, at the time, before you made up your mind, like, this is the career path I want to go in, this is what I want to study, this is where I see myself. What is there that you would say to young people, people who are considering this as an option? What is there that you would say to them to inspire them to become chartered accountants?
I would tell them to never limit themselves. You're going through high school and you think, okay, I'm just going to do this and this is the end, but you never understand the world of possibilities that's open to you and that you can achieve. And because we live in such a social media environment, we have access to so many resources. You see so many success stories, and so you should know that you can do it too, and it's available to you. And I think, in my opinion, I always felt like, okay, I'm just going to go get my qualification and it's going to end there. But there's so much more you can do with it.
Yeah.
So the big question for everybody out there that's sitting listening, obviously right now, is where do they get more information? How do they get in touch? How do they become that CA? Who do they need to contact?
So they can actually, there is so many places that you can contact. So if you don't have like data, you can go on a mobile line and phone as well. So you can call SAICA on 08610 SAICA, which the numbers will be 72422. You can email SAICA at saica.co.za. You can, as I mentioned earlier, the website, the Thuthuka Bursary Fund website, or you can also inquire with regards to the bursary to tbf@saica.co.za.
Okay,
And it is as straightforward and as easy as that.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, so there you have it. You simply just you got to go visit the SAICA website. As simple as that. And we will give you those details also at the end of the show. Well, ladies, all I can say is thank you so much. Thank you so much for putting us in perspective. And Lauren, from your side, and any closing thoughts? Any closing thoughts that you would like to share with us?
So then just a few closing thoughts for the learners and the students of the future. Don't undermine your capabilities, regardless of where your upbringing is and where you are currently now with your upbringing. Your future is much more greater. So don't undermine you as a human being and be your own cheerleader.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Be your own cheerleader.
Well,
Woo,
yeah,
woo.
that is... Amina, anything from your side?
No, I think so much valuable things have been said, and I just want everyone to sit with it and think about it. And yeah, they say also, oh, I was thinking of this meme, I wanted to bring it up. But they say SAICA students don't queue at university queues. Thuthuka students, we go to the front of the line.
There we go. There we go.
There we go.
That's it. That's like drop the mic. Here we go. That's how you do it.
Well done, ladies.
Lauren Poole, Amina Batin, thank you so much for your time. Thank you very much for sharing your experiences and giving us insight. And the one thing you have done, you have definitely whet the appetite for everybody
Most
to become
definitely.
chartered accountants or CASAs. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you very much for your input. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
So that is Amina and Lauren. I tell you what, Rhoda.
Wow.
This is we know it's a designation, and these are facts to consider. You said it right at the top of the show.
Yeah.
If you look at the number of CEOs, business leaders, CFOs from companies, everybody who's a chartered accountant. Let's be honest, because that is the kind of person you would want to head up a business, head up an organization. They work in government, private sector, dominate all sectors, really.
Yeah.
So this is definitely it.
Yeah.
And more importantly, the one thing we've established, if you can dream it, you can do it. Because they've said it now, with SAICA and Thuthuka, that dream is possible for you.
It is possible for you. So, I mean, the funding is there, guys. The Thuthuka funding is there. Are you interested in becoming that CA? Well, there you go. We're putting everything on a silver platter for you. Make that decision and make that choice.
Absolutely fantastic. I love the whole journey they've experienced, and we love, of course, just how rosy it sounds, and of course how bright that future is certainly going to be. But just to remind you, of course, if you want to find out more, you go to the SAICA website. So very, very easy, and that is www.saica.co.za. So you can go there for all the information, that you need as well, and it is just absolutely brilliant. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the wonderful questions and comments that we received. And once again, thank you very much to Lauren Poole, as well as Amina Batin from the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants for joining us on the show. And most of all, thank you to you for watching.
And Dougal, I do think also, people, we will be having our show next week as well. So don't forget, that will be on
Thursday.
That's Thursday?
Tuesday.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the tease, the tease.
Okay, but we will send out the ad to tell exactly time and date. So keep your eyes open and keep them peeled.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing you then. Thank you for watching.